What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for today's video because today I'm answering a question that I got on one of my videos from a guy whose name is Brad. And Brad wants to know if I have any tips for newer white belt guys on rolling with females. I thought this was a really great question, so Brad, thank you so much for asking it. But Brad, if you are the newer white belt guy, I think that it shows a lot of maturity and I think a true desire to grow and learn jujitsu and learning how to be as respectful and mindful of every single training partner that you might have. So I thought it was a great question, so let's get into it. So again, this video is for the newer white belt guys or maybe even some more seasoned guys out there that have been doing jujitsu for a little while, but you realize maybe you need to just be a better training partner for the ladies on the mats. I've got 5 tips on how to be a better rolling partner for your female training partners. Tip number 1. Assess who you're rolling with. A couple seconds before you guys shake hands, before you fist bump, and before you start rolling, take a couple seconds. What belt is your female training partner? Is she a white belt with 0 stripes? The belt looks pretty new, so you can tell she hasn't been doing it for that long at all. Is she a seasoned blue belt? Is she a purple brown belt? That will be a pretty good indicator on her confidence in rolling and her confidence in rolling with a guy, and maybe a guy who is a lot bigger than her. And aside from looking at what rank she is, try to feel out her energy, okay? A lot of times newer white belt women who haven't been doing it for a long time at all, they may give off some nervous energy, maybe they're a little bit shy. That's a pretty good indicator on how she feels about rolling and how she feels or potentially could be feeling about rolling with a guy who might be a bit bigger than her or just a guy in general. Versus if you feel like your female training partner is just like super chill, super down to roll, giving you good energy, giving you good vibes, maybe is energetic about the roll, or if you've seen her in class before and you know that she goes hard when she rolls, then obviously she's super comfortable. Side note, if you see this lighting going a little crazy right now, I'm filming it's about 11 o'clock in the morning and the sun is just doing whatever it wants and it's going in and out. So if the lighting is constantly changing throughout the video, that's why. Now, before I go any further, let me just say this might not apply to everyone. Everything I'm saying today might not apply to everyone. There might be girls out there who are doing their first or second class and they're freaking savages and they're ready to go in there and roll with every dude on the mat. That definitely wasn't me. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from things that I've seen, women that I've spoke with, had conversations with. I'm just saying it might not be for everyone. So these are kind of just like general guidelines, but you know, it could be different for everyone. So again, tip number 1, before you start rolling, just do a quick couple second assessment of your partner, of her rank, and the energy that she's giving you. Tip number 2, be mindful of your weight and your strength. And now I know that there's gonna be people out there that are gonna say,
girls can be just as strong as guys.
No, I don't give a darn. Guys are always gonna be stronger than us, okay? There are guys that I roll with who are my weight, maybe a couple pounds heavier than me, and they are a lot stronger and more muscular than I am. Okay, so just be mindful of the weight and strength that you are giving your female partner. And that might be easier said than done, especially if you're newer. You probably don't know how to control your weight and control your strength, so that takes time, but just start thinking about it and being mindful of it. So what might this look like? For example, if you're a guy and maybe you're newer, right? And say you're, I don't know, 190 pounds, 200 pounds, whatever, and you're rolling with a girl, maybe she's pretty new too, and say she's 130 pounds. There's no reason why, if you end up in top side control, why you have to put all of your 200 pounds on this 130 pound girl. If you get in top side control, great, that's an awesome position, but figure out where you can go from there, whether it's a submission from there or whether you want to move on to a different position. But you don't need to lay in top side control for the full 5-minute round. Now, this doesn't mean to not give any strength, to not use any weight. Absolutely not. Because I also get frustrated when a guy is going like super duper light, he's not moving, he's laying there like a bump on a log, and he's just letting me do whatever. I don't want that either because that pisses me off too. You know, us females, we always got to be complicated. Nothing is ever quite right. I think a good goal is to match the strength, match the energy, and try to match the skill. Obviously, that could take some time of your training partner. And that goes for anyone really, male or female. I want my male training partners to give me good rolls. I want to be pushed. I want to be exhausted. I want to be tested. All I'm saying is I don't want my ribs crushed because you're throwing your 80 extra pounds on top of me. That's all I'm saying. And look, you're not always going to be the perfect training partner. No one is. But we want all of our training partners to do jujitsu for forever, right? And, you know, something as simple as a newer guy who is a bit heavier than his rolling partner, who maybe is a newer girl to jujitsu, being mounted with a ton of extra weight and all of that extra weight not moving anywhere, and maybe she doesn't know how to get out of it, could be kind of scary for her and could potentially deter her from ever coming back to jujitsu. Tip number 3, if you are frustrated during a roll, do not voice your frustrations during the roll. Keep those frustrations to your freaking self. Let's talk about some examples. I think this definitely goes for the newer guys out there. This could maybe happen if you're newer and you're rolling with a newer girl. Maybe you can't submit her, maybe you can't get to the positions that you want, and she's not quite sure how to defend certain things. I've definitely had guys make comments when they're in certain positions, such as maybe top side control and I'm underneath them and I can't get out, or if they're in mount and I just can't escape it. So I just kind of wait for them to move a little bit so I can figure out how to move and get out of there. I've had comments that have been said like, are you just gonna lay there? Or when are you gonna move? Or get moving? Stuff like that, which is super rude. It is not constructive criticism, and it's very defeating to hear a comment like that coming from your training partner. And I've also had experiences as a kind of higher blue and purple belt now, where I'm rolling with a guy who maybe is newer, or even a guy who's been doing it for a little while, but maybe my skills are just a little bit more developed than his. I've had guys that have cursed while we're rolling. To me, that's like a huge no-no. If you're throwing F-bombs out during my roll because you're getting frustrated because you can't pass my guard or whatever the case is, or you feel like you can just bump me off and you're not able to because I'm distributing my weight, that's not my problem. You just need to get better. But one thing I definitely don't appreciate when rolling with guys is comments that are not constructive to my jujitsu and curse words because you are getting frustrated at your own jujitsu. So tip number 3, again, if you are getting frustrated during a roll with your female training partner, keep your frustrations to yourself. Try not to express how frustrated you are. Something that you can do that is positive and can help your jujitsu is if you find that your female training partner maybe is better and has more skills than you and is doing stuff during the roll that you just can't quite figure out, ask her questions after the roll. Ask her like, hey, I couldn't get past your spider guard, or you got out of that choke really easily. What can I do to ensure that, that doesn't happen again? Stuff like that. Listen, you're always going to have training partners that are better than you, whether they are male or female, and it shouldn't matter. You're here to learn. Everybody's here to learn. So ask questions. No matter who it is, I'm sure that training partner would be more than happy to help you with your jujitsu. So I kind of combined tip number 4 with tip number 3. Tip number 3 was supposed to be handling your frustrations in a positive way. Tip number 4 was supposed to be mindful of your comments, but I kind of got into the whole commenting thing with the frustration thing. But I guess to elaborate on it a tiny bit, obviously, like I mentioned, keep the negative comments to yourself. Keep the negative words, curse words, whatever, keep that to yourself. That's not beneficial for anybody. But also try to be mindful of even constructive comments during a roll. Personally, I can't stand when people are talking to me during a roll and people that are commenting on on my jujitsu when we're rolling. I can't freaking stand it. I was rolling with a guy recently and he was rolling pretty hard with me and I was having a tough training day to begin with. And he has a history of rolling pretty rough with everyone and just being kind of an angry man in the training room. But whatever, I was rolling with him, pushing through it. And then my coach was like, listen, she's competing, like work with her. And I guess he took that as, let me comment on what she's doing. And that just pissed me off even more. If you want to say stuff to me about my jiu-jitsu and what I'm doing, tell me after the roll. Give me constructive criticism when we're done rolling. But during a roll, let me work, let me figure out what I'm doing, and then after we can chat about it. And again, that might not be for every person that you roll with, male or female. Maybe they don't mind you chatting it up while you're rolling. Maybe they want to be pushed when they're rolling, but maybe they don't. So just think about it before you do it. Think about the comments that you're going to make before you make them. Now, my last tip, my fifth tip for all of you newer jiu-jitsu guys out there. Remember, we are all here to learn. Think about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. And will it help you and will it help your jiu-jitsu? If you're in your female training partner's close guard during a roll and you're a lot bigger than her and all you are doing is laying your weight on her as you're inside the guard and you're putting your forearm in her throat, for example, take a step back. Is that really helping your jiu-jitsu, or should you be trying to figure out how to get the heck out of her close guard? So stuff like that. Take a second and try to think, is this helping my jiu-jitsu? I think if you follow all of these tips, you'd make a pretty good training partner. So I hope this was helpful. And remember, this is not me trying to bash all the guys out there or say all this negative stuff about guy training partners out there. If you've watched my other videos, you guys know that I love training with my male training partners and I absolutely appreciate all of them, even the ones who've been stupid. If you guys have any other tips, if any of you ladies out there have any other tips, if any of you guys out there have any other tips, leave them in the comments so everybody can see them. If this video was helpful for you, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel. And until the next video, I will see you guys next time.